Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. I believe it is day number 19. Could be 18, could be 20. Day number 19 of StarLadder Star Series, and we have got our match between Empire and RoX.KiS, or otherwise known as Radical Online Extremists, who are once again, just like yesterday, playing with two stand-ins. So that might hurt them slightly. Before we jump ourselves into the draft, I have some scores to show you, just so you are aware what the standings are right now. The thing is, no Tidehunter, still the only team with only one loss, so they can still get highest of everybody. Fnatic, very high on top of their 2 losses only. Empire 2, Mousesports 2. So those are the 4 favorites at this moment. Virtus Pro is close 5th with 3 matches lost in total. El Pride, same story. Na'Vi, for all you fan favorites, is having 4 games lost. So they are really dependent on what other teams are going to be doing. One of the most important matches that is going to happen still is tomorrow. Fnatic taking on Empire. One of those 2 teams will be having to deal with the tiebreaker probably. So that is big. For these 2 teams specifically, Empire, they kind of need to win this to be able to really get ahead. Otherwise, that game tomorrow will be a do it or die, basically. For RoX, they want to win this match because the 4 bottom teams go... the bottom 2 go to Pro Series regardless, and the 2 above that will be having to play regulation matches to still be in Star Series for the next season. So that is kind of needed. Now, I do need to say that RoX.KiS, they managed to take a game off Fnatic. And who knows, they can do the same thing for Empire. We're going to see it. We're not going to see it with the Nyx or Cuddle though, because those 2 have already been banned out. We still have the Wisp in the pool, and Empire have done their homework. We have seen Basils on basically nothing else but life stealers lately. And that is going to be banned out. It's gonna disrupt RoX lineup a bit, and of course, I mean, already playing with 2 stand-ins, with not having StarLadder and Seedoy there, with this, which is, by the way, those are their mid lane and normally their off lane, so 2 solo lanes not being there. It's quite important.
5 seconds
quite big roles, big shoes that Screen and Firmer have to fill. And we already saw Firmer, of course, already playing yesterday, I believe. So we know that he is okay in the mid lane, but you know, it's not your same team. It's difficult to deal with. We're gonna see Bedrider for the last ban, and that will then leave the Wisp in the pool. Let's see if Empire wants to pick that one up. Yes, they do. And we'll put RoX. Well, do they want to pick up that Gyrocopter and the Bane or something along the likes? I mean, you already know what kind of lineup you're going to deal with from your opposing team. With the Wisp being there, it kind of means, you know, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be going for those mid-game ganks if they can get them. So you gotta try to... You have kind of got 2 options. So you know that there's going to be mid stuff coming out from Empire. You can do 2 things. You can either go for a 5-man mid-game strat, because if you're 5-manning in the mid-game, that Wisp CK, or any combination basically, cannot do anything because they'll be teleporting into 5 people, and that's not going to be working out. For another tactic would be to play very safe, have a very late game strat, and just make sure you're not going to get ganked, which is basically done by having full coverage with wards and everything like that, but also by just not being by yourself. If you are a certain hero that doesn't have an escape, isn't safe for the combination that Empire can throw at them. They're going to pick up the Chaos Knight to deny it to Empire. I like that. I like that a lot. They also pick up the Magnus. The combination between the 2 heroes is not that great. Chaos Knight, mostly single target. Magnus wants to be the big team fight guy, so they're kind of having 2 separate things going on already. There's of course still a lot of different combination with that Wisp though, so I don't think Empire is too sad about it. If anything, they might actually be okay with this, just because they have basically forced out heroes from RoX that they might normally not pick up. Purely because of that 1 Wisp pick, Empire was able to just force some heroes out of their opposing team. Darkseer is going to be in the hands of Empire for this game. And we're gonna have a puck there as well. So they kind of leave it open about what kind of combination they want to make with that Wisp, if any. To be fair, Wisp is a very strong support regardless. And also is very strong basically because, you know what you had with the Morphling when Morphling was all hot and sexy and everything? Morphling was one of those heroes that could just farm. And when a team fight came, he could morph to his replica and be in a team fight. Same thing goes for the Spectre, etc. But with the Wisp, you kind of make the same thing happening for your carry. Your carry can just farm, and a Wisp is just gonna stand close by you, and he can just TP you to the fight whenever the fight starts. Gonna have an Undying for the last one for RoX to pick up before we're going into the next ban phase. All melee heroes so far. Kind of curious to see what they're gonna be doing with that. I mean, we still have, of course, you have the solid range stun from the Chaos Knight. You can go with a Decay to go through that. You can also, of course, have a Lina or a Leshrac or something to follow up that stun with a Split Earth or a Light Strike Array. All kind of combinations possible. Of course, also Shadow Demon is a great one to have there. We still have the Bane and the Gyrocopter in the pool.
5 seconds remaining.
Could be pickups for Empire, as they have, in theory, got 2 solo lanes ready. The puck mid. And Darkseer on the off lane. And Shadow Demon is indeed the one that gets banned out. That's Soul Catcher. If you have a Disruption and a Soul Catcher and there's going to be a stun coming afterwards from the Chaos Knight, I think you're going to be going down, because that hurts. That really hurts. Of course there's a bit of luck involved as well. But it's painful. We're going to see what RoX is going to be banning out. We're probably going to see carries being banned out that they don't want to be seeing together with the Wisp. Phantom Lancer would be one to see banned out. Phantom Lancer Wisp is actually quite decent, and same thing goes for basically any kind of carry, I would say.
10 seconds
or maybe for example specifically a Tiny or something, but it's not really
remaining.
like there's so many good combination with that Wisps, so you can't really say anything specific. They do ban out the Gyrocopter, so that's no longer going to be a hero that either team is going to be able to pick up. Wait a second. Wow. So a hero that we still have in the pool as well is the Queen of Pain. We have the Magnus, of course, already on RoX, but he could be going onto the off lane and then just have a mid lane still to be picked up for RoX. We could also I mean, we're missing on both teams. We're missing one main laning hero, let's call it that way. Yeah, let's do that. With the Bane ban out still by Empire. So we're missing a kind of carry from Empire, and we could even miss another one, because Darkseer in theory could be going into the jungle, and then there's a dual lane with the Wisp and a carry, and then another solo lane for Empire. So Queen of Pain still in the pool, could be picked up by either side. Actually a decent hero to stand against any mid lane. Puck is a difficult hero to take in the mid lane. I mean, you're not really going to win the lane, you gotta have to accept that. You're not going to kill him, unless you're going to get ganks from your team. But my point is, it is open for Empire, it's also open for RoX. We got ourselves a Juggernaut being banned out. Juggernaut Wisp is also a combination that we have been seeing before. And of course we actually Gyrocopter Wisp. I mean, there are so many videos on YouTube, and there were on Reddit, of course, a lot as well, with just Wisp Gyrocopters that TP'd out of a very narrow situation with the entire enemy team waiting for them to come back. And then BKB on for the Gyrocopter, and he just cleans out the entire team. There were a couple of videos of those, so that's also one that they don't want to be having there. At least not that combination. Gotta see the last ban of Empire incoming soon. They're taking not yet into the bonus time. They still have a minute left. It feels like they used already so much, but they're just gradually using it. Same thing goes for RoX. I mean, they still have 50 seconds left, which is okay. I mean, no need to rush just yet. Silencer is going to be the last one that they don't want to be dealing with.
Radiant team ban.
Silencer, we have seen Silencer a couple of times as support most likely lately. Empire was the one that actually tried it out on the solo mid lane as well as on a aggressive tri lane farming hero. The last situation actually worked out, though not because of the Silencer. That was just outclassed, I would say. And the solo mid Silencer for Scandal, it didn't work out. They actually lost that game. Gonna see the last pickup, or ban out I should say, from RoX. Is there gonna be another one of those carries?
10 seconds.
And of course the first pick goes to Empire, so if they're afraid that RoX is gonna pick something up that they want to have, then they can pick that one up. But I think they're gonna be
reserve time.
Actually, I don't know. There's so many options. Like, I was gonna say that I think they're gonna be like the team that tries to keep everything as open as possible until the very end. Sven is gonna be the last ban out, an old-fashioned Sven ban from RoX. Like, they could even pick up a jungle hero here. We still have Chen in the pool. And we know that Goblik likes to play Enchantress. Enigma, of course, still there as well. I mean, you already have a Vacuum. With a team fight potential from Empire would be quite insane with that one. They could also pick up a Rubik. Rubik is great with Magnus and a Chaos Knight on the other side. If you steal a Chaos Bolt, that's a big disable that you steal. I mean, disable-wise, Team Empire is not that rich. They have got, of course, the Tether Stun. Tether Stun. They pick up the Ancient Apparition. Now, I have to say, I'm not really convinced. But it's a very decent hero. Don't get me wrong. It's very decent, and it's definitely has potential. But I think they could have been doing so much more with just picking up a jungle hero still. But apparently, not wanting to do that. Going still for the global snipe up. I mean, Age Separation, of course, is that hero with the global ultimate. Same thing goes for the Wisp.
5 seconds remaining.
Quite decent. RoX taking their time. Is it gonna be another support together with that Chaos Knight, like a Lina or a CK? Sorry, Lina or a Leshrac? Or is it gonna be a solo lane? I mean, we still have Windrunner in there if they want to put the Magnus mid and then Windrunner or Beastmaster on the safe lane. They could even try to go for an aggressive tri-lane and then have a safe laning lone Druid in the picked up. Klinks is still in the pool. There's so many options that these teams both still have, actually. I mean, we've seen Age Separation mids as well.
10
Age
seconds
Separation's mid.
remaining.
Yeah. But there's the Rubik. On a different team. I have to say, like, the color palette from Empire looks about the same-ish. With blue purplish. But yeah, Rubik picked up. And that's gonna be support. It's still a strong support. Together with the Chaos Knight Undying, you don't have an extra solid stun. You do have, of course, the telekinesis with the disable. So disable-wise, RoX is still pulling ahead. Of course, the cold feet is still there from Empire, so it's nice. But it's not a solid
10
stun.
seconds remaining.
And is Empire gonna go for more
5
global
seconds
heroes, or are they
remaining.
actually gonna be picking up a carry? It really depends about what they're gonna be trying here with their lineup.
Reserve time.
And what I feel like they're missing is some raw power in their heroes. I mean, they're nice, each and every one of them, and you have got, of course, your Vacuum into the Dream Call, into the ALT. I mean, the potential's definitely there. And there's the Tiny. Wow, that's raw power right there.
Radiant team pick.
So I did mention the Tiny earlier already, because he's one of those standard combinations with the Wisp. RoX rather ban out other heroes though, so they were prepared to deal with him, I guess. And they're gonna have to. And let's see what RoX is gonna be picking up last. Is it gonna be a solo laner and then you just have the Rubik Undying and the Chaos Knight on the tri lane? Magnus on the safe
10
lane or on
seconds
a solo mid or solo off. There's so many options. Like aggressive
5
tri lane
seconds remaining.
could work, but it's not really ideal. Not when you know that you're probably up against a tri lane for your opposing team as well. And
5
even though
seconds.
Wisp and Tiny aren't that strong yet in the lane, they're still nice. You can toss a person in and the tether stun hits, etc. But they're still not really easy to get to dive either. So we see a Warlock. We have seen, of course, quite a few Warlocks as teams have been experimenting with it, with great successes as well. With the Warlocks fatal bonds being very fatal to a lot of people, and of course also Warlock in the solo mid role can really stand his own, stand his ground. He has got those fatal bonds. It's like control right there for the opposing hero that's there, and of course also he is his last hit animation is very decent, very good. His attack is not that amazing, but it's with the attack animation. I mean, his attack damage is not that amazing, but the animation makes it all okay. We see Farmer playing it, and we yesterday saw Farmer playing the the mid role also instead of StarLadder, who's of course not here right now. StarLadder and Cedo is still having some issues with the internet apparently. So RoX.KiS is playing with 2 stand-ins. We see Firmer playing the Warlock, and Screen will be on the Magnus. 2 heroes or 2 players that we have seen before, of course, in the CIS scene, I should say. We see Basil's, he's gonna of course play the hard carry. It's gonna be the Chaos Knight, or carry I should say, hard. Depends on how fast he farms. Hardy will be playing support role on the Rubik, and another support is gonna be the Yol. So that is gonna be all heroes ready for RoX. We're gonna jump ourselves over to Empire and see who's playing what on that side. We have got Blow Your Brain, he's playing the Tiny. Silent is gonna be playing the Wisp. Scandal is gonna be playing the Darkseer, so he might be going into that mid lane. Goblek on the Age Separation, and Vegas on the Puck, and that, I believe, that used to be one of his signature heroes. Of course, Vegas is has left El Pride. He is teamless at the moment. There has been a lot of speculation if Empire wanted to pick him up instead. The counter argument for that I hear most people say is that they probably won't be doing that due to Vegas not really having that much motivation anymore to play competitive. But don't lock me down on that one. But I do like seeing him in play, so we're gonna see if he can impress us in this game. Empire versus RoX.KiS, StarLadder, Season 5, Day 19, I think. And it's getting closer and closer to the ending of Star Series, to see which 4 teams are going to Kiev. As so much can still happen. Once again, since there is a pause, for you people that joined later on, I'm gonna just put the scores up here for a second again. The main thing that you have to look at is lost games. And then you can see how much max points everybody can still get. So we know that No Tidehunter is basically ahead, because they only have 1 loss. But we also see that they've only played 8 games. Both Fnatic and Virtus.pro have played 10 and 11, so that's a lot higher. But Empire already lost 2 games, have only played 7. Mouseboard lost 2 games, have only played 7. And of course Na'Vi have played 8 games and lost 4. So Na'Vi, for them, it's really the case on hoping that the opposing teams, or that basically the top 5 lose a couple of their last games still, because we still have Fnatic, No Tidehunter, Virtus.pro, Empire, Mouse. They're still playing a lot of games. There's 15 games that each team has to play in total, so that is going to be that. And basically Na'Vi has to win everything, and then has to hope that some of the other teams lose their games in order to for them to still get ahead. But we'll see if other teams are actually going to do that. Of course, we're going to see Empire right now. Of course, tomorrow, Fnatic versus Empire. It's going to be one hell of a game. I will be joined, by the way, tomorrow by Kawa. So he'll be co-casting tomorrow. And as you can tell, today is a solo cast, or at least this one is. The next 2 are as well. But the last game of the day, I will be joined by Iconoclast, or Matrim, as you might know him as, from a former MTW. As for the games today, we're going to see Na'Vi versus Absolute Legends, and Mousepurse versus Foda, as well as 3D Max taking on 4FC. So those are some games that you can look forward to today. With tomorrow having 4 days as well, 4 games as well, I should say. Of course, the most important one, Fnatic versus Empire, there was Mousepurse versus Na'Vi, but that one actually got postponed. But there's still, for example, No Tidehunter versus Absolute Legends, which is a very important one as well for No Tidehunter, basically, to keep being ahead. But yeah, these are the scores. If you want to check out those scores for yourself, you can. You can go to StarLadder.tv and then go to the Dota 2 section. Click on the British flag and then go to the League tab that you see, and then you can see all the scores. I believe some of the words there are still in Russian, but I think you can get the grip of it if you know that there's they list the games, they list the wins and the losses, and they list the difference basically between the average, I believe. So you know what well, if teams are ahead of are even, or you know what I mean. But that's not really an interesting stat to look at least not for me. Apart from the top 4 going to Kiev, of course, the bottom 4, they have to be careful. The bottom 2 get dropped down to Pro Series. No questions asked. Bam, you're out. No Star Series for you next season. The 2 above that, so number 13 and 14, they have to play regulation matches. And they play that against the number 3 and 4 of the Pro Series. And if they win that, they can still go to Star Series. But if they lose that, they get dropped down to Pro Series as well. And the Pro Series teams actually get ahead. And that is, of course, also how we see some of the teams that we see here today are here. Like Foda, for example, they made it through the regulation matches to get into Star Series to begin with. Of course, they're not doing all too well in the Star Series, but they did made it, and they did win at least one of their games, but they are looking to be dropped back again. It's still not over for them just yet, though. As you can see, they still have 6 games to play, and who knows what might happen in those 6 games. But yeah, we're still having the pause, so we're not missing anything just yet. Also, hi to all the people watching inside Dota TV client. There is actually a lot of people casting these matches again, and we're probably gonna see that for more of the games that are gonna happen, since these are the more important games. Well, it's not really that the others weren't important. It's just we can say more about the outcomes of the games right now, like what they mean to the teams. So it kind of gives a bit of extra value to the games, if you will. So we do have Beyond the Summit as well as Join Dota casting this match as well, and I believe they're also gonna be casting the games later on today. Though of course Toby will switch at some point to 4PL because he is casting the 4PL finals between Absolute Legends and Power Rangers. So you can tune into that one as well, and well, if I'm naming other games that are being played anyway. There's of course also later on tonight is going to be Empire vs Mouse for the D2L, so that should also be an interesting game, but you know, I'm gonna want you to stick with me anyway, so I'm not gonna say the time. You can find it on my forums regardless. Okay, it's at 8. Okay, I suck at self-promoting, don't I? I send you all the wrong ways and stuff. It's not good. So, game is on pause. So let's see who is going to be going where. Looks like we're going to have a safe trailing for Empire. There's to let the Tiny farm up. I mean, I already said Tiny and Wisp are not the greatest of laners. They're not weak by any means, but they can't really go for aggressive trailings. Not that as much anyway. Not without putting themselves at a giant risk. And of course, you can't really, if you're going on an aggressive trailing, you can't really make a mistake, because if you do, and even though even if you don't die, if you do make a mistake without dying, you still have Tiny without any mana, and he can't do anything for a long time. You want to be able to do stuff for a long time. Let's see. Smoked up for RoX. They're going to try to find Goblak. Can they find him? The Tether is going to help out with the speed. There's not going to be a stun from the high ground anymore, and Empire will be able to get themselves out of there. So of course, as far as combination goes with these 3 heroes here, the Cold Feet will proc if there's an avalanche that hits, and a Tether stun as well. Tether stun. Wow. I have to practice my Tether pronunciation. So Vegas will be playing in the mid lane, no real surprise as he's playing the puck, but that will mean that Scandal is going to not be playing the mid lane, and he is going to be playing the solo safe lane, solo long lane I should say. Probably there was at some point that Empire was thinking there was a Magnus mid, and a Magnus versus Darkseer is the one that they wanted to have, so that is fine. That's also why we see them on the bottom lane. But as soon as that Warlock got picked up, they realized, okay, you know what, the mid lane is not going to be for the Darkseer, the mid lane is going to be for the puck, because we want him to be up against the Darkseer. As the Illusion Rune goes to RoX, and they are actually running an aggressive tri lane right here, as we already see Scandal trying to pull the lane back. He has got, of course, a shield and an Iron Shell, so can just tower skip those creeps and force Screen to last it under his tower. In the meantime, this tri lane on the top lane, a lot of potential for RoX. But there's also a lot of saving potential for Empire, so there's going to be a stun and a telekinesis and a decay. That's basically RoX basic things that they can do. Like, if they're going to go to do that on the Wisp, they better hope that they kill him off before the stun is over, because otherwise he can tether to someone and he'll be safe. Or there'll be an avalanche, so that people can't chase, or Cold Feet so people can't chase, and he actually picked up the Chilling Touch. More damage being done here. Joel has to get himself out, should be able to stay alive, but he is so slow actually. And with the tether there, avalanche hits. This might be first blood. Joel in a lot of trouble. No help from his team either. Decay is gonna help him give a bit of experience. He does do his name justice. Here comes the Chaos Knight. Ooh, nice block. 2 seconds stun up on silent. Is there a telekinesis as well? Yes, there is. They might get the first blood now in return. Yes, they do. Basils picks up the kill. Empire a bit behind. There is gonna be the Clarity being picked up. Below your brain, gonna get Reality Rifted back in. 1 more hit away from dying, and that's a double kill for Basils. All of a sudden, the aggression from Empire, I mean, that is Undying really doing his name justice, because he just didn't die, pops himself, will be able to stay alive if he doesn't get hit by anything, and is gonna be just fine. And that will be Empire probably taking it a bit more slow right now, and of course playing a bit more safe if they need to. And we have got the disconnect from the game, so we will be having a pause again. But 2 kills go in the way of RoX. Very strong comeback. Counter initiation, I'd say. I mean, it looked a bit sloppy to begin with, just the 2 players blocking themselves a bit at the camp, but that was just quite some decent play from RoX, able to you know, keep their heads cool and just take 2 kills, including, of course, one on the carry of the opposing team, which is the Tiny. Wisp and Tiny combination being shut down slightly. Let's see if they can keep it up though, or if they're gonna be having a tough time. I mean, at the same time, Blow Your Brain, he's not having to share the experience with 3 people, 2 extra people, I should say. Only with 1 extra, only Godblack. Well, of course, for Basil's, he has to share the experience with 3 people, so relatively, Blow Your Brain will level a bit faster. Even though it basically says that RoX level's slower, but yeah, you know what I mean. In the meantime, on the mid lane, we have got 6 for 2 upon Firmer. It is Vigos who is 14 for 6, so definitely ahead on the last hits. Gets some harassment from the fatal bonds, but not by that much. And he should be fine. Puck shouldn't die in this lane, like no chance. Warlock has to be quite careful. Firmer is probably gonna indeed do that. He has got still a lot of regen, so he should be fine. And of course, he also has his own heal that helps out. But we might see, we know Vigos for diving towers, so we might see him being all ballsy at some point. He also has got his bottle, and he might actually try to go for it right now. There they go, indeed. There is a charge, 1 more hit away from dying, and that's a kill. Vigos getting the advantage in the middle lane.
This book of yours may be full of erroneous information.
Wow, Puck. Thank you for that contribution to the cast. On the bottom lane, in the meantime, it is Scandal that is doing best on the last hits, and not so much on the denies, but he is of course tower skipping, so he is basically getting every single creep kill, and the same thing cannot be said for Screen, because he's forced the last hit under his tower, and he's seemingly having a bit issues with that. He's only 8 for 3. Also, the Iron Shell, if it hits on him, it's not going to be all that good for him. It's just painful. He's being forced to use his bottle for that, and yeah, it's a tough thing to deal with. He does harass Scandal quite a bit, so that's good. But so far, I would say middle lane and bottom lane kind of favor of... Does he have another skewer? He does! Missed. But yeah, I would say bottom and middle lane in favor of Empire. On the top lane though, so far in favor of RoX, or at least it was that. For now, they can't find anything anymore. We do have Tiny higher on last hits right now. Of course, he still died once, but... I mean, the aggressive trial lane, the whole thing about that is, of course, another disconnect from Silent. But yeah, the whole thing about an aggressive trial lane is, of course, that you are aggressive, that you can find kills, and if you can't find them, you're basically getting slightly behind purely for the fact that you're leveling slower, and you don't get as many last hits because you're constantly trying to find action. We got 11 for 2 up on Basil, so the difference is not that big though, but you know, it has to be said, like if you're playing even on an aggressive trial lane, you're basically playing a bit behind, in a way. Basil's might be looking for something, gonna try to get some last hits here. And already countering the sentry ward with their sentry ward of their own. There should be another sentry ward on the side of... Yeah, there's another sentry ward on the side of Empire, so... We'll see if they choose to use that one. I think so, because now they can actually counter with 2 of them. And that should be expected. Yeah, in the meantime, Blur Brain, he's level 4, he's got 1k gold. He's doing okay. I mean, the main thing he's here for anyway is levels. It's like Tiny's, they're great mid-game gankers because they just, and of course also mid-lane heroes in pubs, for example, is because they thrive more on levels than on gold. Of course, gold is great. Oh, Reality Drift in, they want to go for this. Avalanche 2 hits though, and there's a cold feed upon Basil's! Might be going down. What a pause! Another disconnect from Silent. This is bad. He can get a tether up on Blow Your Brain and might be able to help him stay alive. But from the looks of it, he might actually be going down to decay. It has hit, or has it? Yes, it has hit. And of course, the Fate Bolt is hitting as well. And this is just... Yeah, it's bad. In the meantime, dive on the bottom lane, or at least, yeah. Oh, this looks cool. Screen is skewering away from this. Scandal's trying to dive him, but he is gonna be fine. But yeah, top lane is where we're at, and we're gonna see Blow Your Brain still going down. The tether was there. Hardeeve is still gonna take a fall though, and it's gonna be Silent that's gonna be taking a fall as well. 3 seconds on a punt. Oh, that's a lane wipe. Triple kill for the Undying. A lane wipe and only giving up the Rubik in return. That is a good trade for RoX. The question is, was that a bit because of Silent disconnecting, or would they have gotten it anyway? We'll never find out, but I do think that Empire is going to be facepalming slightly because of that. And of course they also were so close in killing off Basils. Couldn't do it in time though, and now Basils is going to be sticking on the lane. He's going to be just fine. And he actually has picked up some items as well for himself, so we've got himself a magic wand. Vigos now coming towards the top lane, picks up an illusion rune as he goes. And of course also the neutrals apparently. Gotta wait until he sees someone to go in on. He is a level 7, so he has got a dream coil. A ward being placed because they want to be making it aggressive. But yeah, the miss has probably gone out from Firmer already. You see Firmer being very back. He is also level 6 by the way, but he just needs a bit more before he can actually do something. We do on the bottom lane see Magnus finally going down, but I'm just going to stick here because we never know when Vigos is going to try to go in for this one. And he actually is back on the mid lane. Never mind. But yeah, that was Scandal picking up still the Magnus. It was bound to happen at some point, especially since the Magnus didn't back off after the last skewer that we just dropped into. But it is Scandal that is definitely pulling ahead. We already was pulling ahead, of course, but with that kill, even more so. We have the gold graph in favor of Empire. Not by that much though. I mean, with the kills going the way of RoX, they're trying to keep it even. Oh, Scream wants to go for the has a reverse polarity also, but no more skewer and Scandal. He has got himself a surge again in 2 seconds, so should be fine. In the meantime, Warlock goes down in the middle lane. Silent coming to help out him. Just this guy is really looking for a reverse polarity. Couldn't find it though. But yeah, Wisp finally rotating. He rotated middle, got himself a kill up on the Warlock, but here we see Basil's Cold Feet is not gonna proc. Soul Rip helping out. The toss is still there, but it's gonna be the Age of Separation that dies first. Now Blow Your Brain on the way out. Basil's still taking a lot of damage, and here also comes Silent Spears hitting up on Yule though. And there is gonna be a Tombstone trying to help out. Basil's is just gonna walk back past the tower because he can. Here comes Vigos. And there goes Hardeve and Yule as well. Silent is not gonna drop this time. And maybe Basil's is still gonna drop also. That's a double kill for Blow Your Brain. And Basil's is gonna TP out. Silent. Oh, so close. So close. But at least 6-6. Empire finally, well, basically finally getting something in return in the top lane. Finally winning a fight. They do lose their tower though. And they don't get it denied. So that's something that they lost during that fight. And now we got Godlike in the mid lane trying to get up some extra levels. We still haven't seen the Warlock leave his lane. And as soon as he starts leaving his lane and popping his ulti, etc., we might see something going on right then. And Scream finally uses reverse polarity. Fatal going through. Shockwave is not going to get him. Scandal looks to be on a safe way out. No, not enough mana anymore on the Magnus. He doesn't have any bottle charges. And that's going to be a rock bottom from this guy. And that is still going to be the kill. A slight overkill, but at least, I mean, you might consider it worth it. I mean, the thing is, it's such a long cooldown. I mean, it's almost 3-minute cooldown that you don't have your ultimate for, and that's tough. That is just tough. You also, I mean, you use and the reverse polarity and the chaotic offering for that. I don't think that Scandal's gonna be all too sad. I mean, he baited out 2 ultis of his opposing team. That's not bad. Now they know that RoX cannot teamfight yet. I mean, during the draft, wait a second, Joel is probably gonna go down because Vigos is standing here, invisible. Silence is there, Joel, maybe with the Soul Rip, pops up a Tombstone. Is there a Soul Rip? No, he is dead, never mind. And the Tombstone goes down. Actually, Silence coming into this as well. But the thing I said during the draft, right, if you have got a tiny Wisp combination, what you can do against it, basically go 5-man Dota or play safe Dota. Well, the potential for RoX for 5-man Dota is pretty big. They've got a lot of teamfight on their hands. I mean, they've got their chaotic offering, they got reverse polarity, decay, and Tombstone should definitely not be forgotten. By the way, this is the most amazing wards in history of time, combined with one that I once saw with just one tentacle holding an eyeball. That was fun too, but this one is best. I don't have it, unfortunately. But yeah. So the 5-man Dota from RoX is strong, but you know, you have to use your team fight when you actually are gonna be able to team fight. And that's not right now because you don't have anything. And it's gonna be a Silence helping out to get Basils, get Firmer. Soul Rip helping out to keeping Basils up. Silent able to get some spirits. Oh my god! And that was Basil just walking back into that one. Yule still trying to chase Silent down, getting some revenge up, but he has to back off because otherwise he might die. Hardeve is gonna go down here as well. One more hit away from dying. Here is Screen. A lot of damage for him as well. Gets tossed on the other one. And that is gonna be Screen. Is it gonna be the only one left alive? Oh, he picks up Silent at least. Yul in the mix of all of this as well, but that is not a good trade for RoX. And that is, I just said that. Oh wait, Vegas doing Vegas things. Oh my god, Vegas, was that really worth it? I don't think it was. And that was still also the Tiny go now. How did the Tiny go down? He went down there. Okay. But yeah, the RoX fought without their team fight. So imagine that fight, that ended up being fairly even actually, because Empire just slightly overextended. But imagine that fight being with a reverse polarity, or with a chaotic offering. That would have been such a difference. That would have been such a big difference for that game, as we have Basil's rotating bottom. Maybe seeing if he can get a try on Scandal, but Scandal already backing up. Wisp TPing middle. They want to go for Firmer. There's a toss and the avalanche and the kill, and hello Wisp. Level 8 and Chaos Knight, Tiny level 9. Shockwave going through, Rehab drift in. Vigos still alive. Wisp TP's out, 4 seconds out upon Vigos. We have got Tiny still picking up the Magnus before anything else. And Yul gets a soul rip, able to stay alive for now. Basil, is he gonna be as lucky? He still has a lot of mana, but he gets picked up by the Iron Shell of Scandal. Blow Your Brain might still go down from the tombstone. Yul actually coming into play as well, but he just gets the kill already. Also gets the puck, so double kill for Yul. Silent now also has some trouble with the tombstone and will be not dying because he picked up the tombstone just in time. And is going to be tethering to Goldblack to be able to stay alive. So that was overextension from RoX again, or at least, well, overextension. It started off with Firmer being around here on the wrong side of the river, basically, with knowing that the Wisp TP was up. And this is the time when you have to be ready for that. This is the time when it's so important that you either play the 5-man Dota that I said you could, if you have got that team fight up, which by now they do again, but you know they have to be actually with 5 if they want to try that out, or you have to play safe Dota, and safe Dota means not standing on the wrong side of the river by yourself if you're a solo Warlock. And now Warlock is, I said he is a decent mid hero with the bonds, with the everything, etc. But he is not the most survivable hero. He is still a Warlock. He is still an intelligence hero with, you know, not that much armor, not that much HP. And he'll still have a tough time. Hello, Scandal, by the way. What you doing there, buddy? But yeah, they're gonna go in. And here's the toss in. Tether, Hard Eve. There comes a gun covering. If they're gonna be a reverse polarity, yes it is. Gonna hit on 2, but the combination from Empire was there as well. And that is Vegas getting a triple kill. Hard Eve. Screen, Firmer. And is it gonna be an ultra kill? Can Puck do it? No. Vegas. It was an ultra kill, but no rampage. Blow Your Brain stole it. But yeah, that was a combination from Empire. I mean, they do have some team fight of their own, of course. I mentioned that already during the draft. The vacuum into the Dream Coil into the AA ulti, and then you also have an avalanche and a toss on top of that. And of course, you have the Puck, Waning Rift. I believe that was Waning Rift that got that triple kill. So Vegas with an ultra kill, and that is gonna be him finishing up his Blink Dagger. Let's take a look at some of the other items. We did already see the mechanism up on Empire's Scandal. We have, of course, got a Tiny. He picked up some drums, he picked up face boots, a bit of standard items. Curious to see what kind of build he's actually gonna go for. If he's gonna go for the Aghanims and a Blink Dagger, or if he rather wants to go for that carry build and just go for Mantis Tower or something like that, which we also have seen quite a bit of. It can all work. We have the Wisp, he has got himself an urn, so also quite standard. Age Separation, support hero. Other than that, Empire is, no, well, that's it on Empire. We actually also have a Scandal picking up a Blink Dagger, so 2 Blink Daggers now on their side. And we're gonna see Yul probably going down. Yul, by the way, doesn't really have that much items. He's got a cloak. But that's about it. And Screen, he's got nothing basically. He's not been getting that many last hits. He's 23 only on the solo safe lane, which apparently wasn't that safe. And he died 4 times. It's quite painful. So he probably wants to go for Blink Dagger at some point, but might just, yeah, be forced into some bracers perhaps first or something like that. Hard Eve, of course, doesn't have that much. We do, of course, have the drums almost up on Basil's, but I say almost, and that should not be the case. He should have already have it at 15 minutes in. He's also not doing too well on the farm. Even though they're basically only 1 tower down. This is all just farm and kills. And we have got Empire looking to end this game by looks of it, or at least end this tower, because they're all on the bottom lane. 5 heroes ready for 5-man Dota, know that they don't have to deal with a chaotic offering yet. There will be a reverse polarity, but without a blink dagger. Oh, there it goes again. Reverse polarity is not even gonna happen. That is 4 heroes dead. I can't even cast it because I went way too fast. Chaotic offering not up yet, and that's gonna be the Warlock going down, trying to do what he can, but he can't do anything. He just can't do anything. Vacuum into Darkseer Wall, into Avalanche, into everything basically.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And we did see someone building towards the mechanism, I believe. Yeah, Warlock, but he still doesn't have it. Now, that would actually be something that might be able to keep them in the game. A mechanism or a pipe.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But for now, they are shut down heavily. And it's levels and gold that they're behind. Look at that levels difference. 4 heroes on a set of Empire, level 12 and level 13, and the highest of RoX is level 9. That's 3 levels difference. That is insane. Gold graph 12k in favor of Empire, with the experience graph 20k. And I think that experience right now is actually hurting them more than the gold. I mean, item-wise, Empire doesn't have that much specific things apart from those blink daggers, which of course makes it for nice initiation and everything like that. But it's the levels up on those spells that do the worst. Bye, y'all. I think you're dead. Reverse polarity only hits some Vigos. Actually, is not hitting at all. It was just it looked like it hit. They do kill off the Darkseer, but he buys back. Silent coming in, get a re-out trip, but he is gonna be going out and takes home the Wisp with him. Oh hey, blow your brain, what you doing there? Getting a 4-second stun, that's what he's doing there. Hello Vega, Silence in, Vacuum there as well. And that is gonna be Rubik going down, Screen going down, Basil's going down, Yo going down, GG, well played, gets gold, please. Can we make the team fights a bit longer next time? Although I guess it was a pretty long team fight, it was a bit of awkward initiation. And it didn't really work out that well for Empire, but just a basic being ahead thing kind of worked out for them. And RoX not able to get something done there. Well, that is going to be Empire getting 3 extra points to their name, and RoX not getting those extra points, unfortunately for them. We are going to see another game. We're going to see actually 3 extra games after this one. We're going to see the Na'Vi taking on Absolute Legends. So that's going to be an important one for both teams. We're going to see Mousesports taking off Foda, and we're going to see 3D Max versus 4FC. For 3D Max versus 4FC, I will be joined by Iconoclast. For the other 2, I will be solo casting. And I think we shall be right back. It was a bit of a 17-minute game. I'm not impressed. Well, maybe I should be impressed because it was quite convincing, but I prefer a bit longer games with a bit more evenness to them. Even though I do like good team fights, but you know, they have to be a bit slower. But yeah, well played for Empire, I have to say, and for RoX it just didn't work out. Aggressive trial and not well, it started out well, but not getting ahead enough as much as they needed to be. And we're gonna see another game. Stick around. Dota 2, StarLadder, Season 5, Star Series. Another game coming your way in just a moment.